Hello everybody, welcome to The Flicks the Church Forgot, the show where I explore the deeper and occasionally spiritual themes that you can find in macabre, morbid and horrific material. Now tonight I continue a multi-part episode profiling some DVD and Blu Ray releases from a UK company called Fabulous Films. If you want to hear my thoughts on Rod Serling's 70s horror anthology series, The Night Gallery, the complete series, then check out episode 1. For the Alfred Hitchcock Hour and the Alfred Hitchcock Presents complete series, check out episode 2. But for now, I'd like to look at just a few of the releases that Fabulous have put out, which not all, some of them aren't horror, but I included them here because they're just a lot of fun. So anyway, before we do that, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Rev Peter Laws or at SoundCloud and Facebook at The Flicks the Church Forgot. And remember, the show is available as an audio podcast too, if you want to have it on the go. Lastly, I keep saying this, but my novel is about to come out in February the 16th, called Purged, and it's out February the 16th, as I just said, because I'm trying to get it right in your head. Anyway, hope you get a chance to try it out, but no worries if not. Now, the first thing we want to look at tonight is Tales That Witness Madness. Now, Tales That Witness Madness, what a name, is an anthology horror from 1973 with a poster that promised an orgy of the damned. Donald Pleasance guides us through a high-tech asylum recounting the tales of his patients in, I would say, this misfiring 70s horror. The stories are okay, but none of them really strike much of a punch, but at least there is a decent level of absurdity going on. For example, the segment with Joan Collins is probably the film's most talked about story. Her and her husband are living in this trendy, for the time, house in the middle of the woods when her husband jogs back from the shop and to buy some cigarettes or something and notices a voluptuous-looking tree. So naturally he brings it home and starts having an affair with it. Let's just say that Joan Collins and the tree don't exactly get on. It's such a bizarre story, but still quite enjoyable and the most memorable one of them all. I also quite enjoyed the first story about a little kid and his imaginary friend, which happens to be an African tiger. It's a bit like Calvin and Hobbes with brightly coloured blood splats, very brightly, that look really bright and nice and sparkly in Blu Ray. But the other two stories are a bit meh. Penny Farthing's got an antique shop owner who keeps thinking a portrait of old Uncle Albert is moving, so he sets up a penny farthing bicycle in front of it and starts cycling, and he's suddenly in a whole new world, and you're like, huh? The story is kind of ridiculous and not really that gripping. Equally, the final tale is called Luau, about a literary agent and her daughter who gets somehow caught up in a plan to appease a Hawaiian god with virgin's blood. It's okay, I guess, but it doesn't really linger in the memory for very long. The linking story as well, this kind of wraparound story with Pleasance wandering around the clinic, is also just not particularly interesting, which leaves Tales That Witness Madness still worth a look. And I love watching all this stuff, but it's more a time capsule of the time rather than a standout anthology horror. Next up, we have a fun science fiction movie called The Time Travelers. The poster says, "Step through the time portal beyond the crack in space and time where the fantastic world of the future will freeze your blood with its weird horrors." Weird horrors, I'm in. This film is creaky but fun, a sort of full-colour Star Trek-style romp where scientists leap through a TV screen and find themselves in the underground base of a future Earth, complete with kooky short skirts and surly future leaders. You can really get a sense of the smallish budget when you watch this. I mean, there's lots of shots from exactly the same angle. But it's fairly inventive too, and I kind of found it amusing while it lasted. In fact, I heard the Time Tunnel TV series was inspired by this. Oh, and cinematographer Vilmos Zsigmond went on to lens Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, no less. Now, what Fabulous Films particularly are getting a name for at the moment are producing box sets of classic TV, like I've been talking about in the last couple of episodes. But they brought out some non-horror, non-chiller stuff, which I think is worth mentioning. First up, it's The Complete Knight Rider on Blu Ray, the 80s hit series about a man fighting crime with the help of his talking car. Yeah, today self-parking, sat-naving cars that talk are kinda standard. But there's one piece of tech that modern motors have not yet attained, and that is the turbo boost. Oh, and ski mode. Actually, there's a whole bunch of things Supercar Kit can do that modern cars still can't do, like analyze chemicals. And to be honest, our new Nissan cannot even jam the controls of a baddie's helicopter, which makes this delightful 80s series kind of still feel fresh and fun. David Hasselhoff and William Daniels are perfectly cast as the long-legged crusader and stuffy neurotic car, both of them champion the cause of the innocent. They argue and they crack jokes at each other's expense, with the car becoming a kind of disapproving but caring uncle, be careful Michael, to Knight's young rock music loving computer game playing ladies man. All 4 seasons are here and they look great in Blu Ray, so you get everything. Car, the evil version of Kit, Goliath, the evil truck version of Kit, and Garth Knight, the evil version of Michael Knight. Also keeping with the horror theme, watch out for the bizarre Halloween episode from season 3, where a bouncy-haired kit mechanic, Bonnie, is haunted by paranormal activity after she sees a woman strangled to death by a man in a gorilla suit. I just love Knight Rider, and it's a delight to see it out on Blu Ray at last. They continue their stellar restorative work with this, the complete A-Team on Blu Ray. Like Knight Rider, I was a massive fan of the A-Team growing up, but I do remember that even back then, if I had to choose, I think I was a Knight Rider kid rather than an A-Team kid. But watching these episodes back, I think I can see why. While I still love watching the A-Team and love it, it's kind of astonishing how repetitive the story rhythms are. Hannibal gets hired in disguise by a pretty girl. They break Murdoch out of an asylum. BA is drugged. They fight baddies. They get locked up. They build a rocket launcher out of pipes and bananas. Then they win and giggle at the end. Freeze frame! Times that by 97 and you pretty much have the entire series. But man, it's still good fun. Spooky highlights aren't limited to the miraculous survival rate of high-speed helicopter crashes, but for example in the episode Timber from season 3, Murdoch even goes hunting down Sasquatch, Bigfoot. The sucker traps BA instead. And finally, Fabulous have continued to earn their name by releasing the complete Incredible Hulk on Blu Ray. I never really watched a lot of this the first time round because I think I was a little bit too young at the time. But watching it back today, it's a really cool show. Back then I would have simply enjoyed the monster part of the series, a big green man played by Lou Ferrigno smashing stuff up in slow motion. Indeed, I remember entering a fancy dress competition at a holiday camp as the Incredible Hulk, complete with torn shirt and trousers and a bent iron bar. But watching it back as an adult, it really is Bill Bixby as David Banner, the late Bill Bixby, who carries the show and provides its drama and its heart. There's a clear sense of melancholy over the whole story, made even more obvious by the Lonely Man piano theme that's played at the end. Banner's forced to keep on wandering America. The opening narration makes this isolation pretty clear. It says the creature is wanted for a murder he didn't commit. David Banner is believed to be dead, and he must let the world think that he is dead until he can find a way to control the raging spirit that dwells within him. Poor guy. I like that opening. Horror-wise, there's a few episodes that do turn to the dark side, like Wax Museum and Haunted, Dark Side and Death Mask. But again, it's just basic. It's a treat to see all of these old shows in crisp Blu-ray. This is the sort of comfort TV that you lie on the couch and watch on a Saturday afternoon when the rain is falling and the nostalgia is building. Fabulous Films are doing a great job of stoking these old memory fires, and I look forward to their future releases, particularly some of the horror-related ones too. Here's hoping they might even bring out The Complete Dark Shadows in Blu-ray in the UK. Though I might not hold my breath, that's a big show, a long show. Well, that's it for now. Please share and subscribe. Follow me at Twitter at Rev Peter Laws or at SoundCloud and Facebook at The Flicks the Church Forgot. And again, if you're up for it, watch out for my novel, Purged, which is hitting shops and online in both physical and digital format, as well as audiobook in digital and audio physical CD format too. But until then, don't forget The Flicks the Church Forgot.